So, Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. No, that really good. Really good movie.
It definitely, yeah. I really enjoyed it. There are aspects of the first one that I think I liked more. I think I liked Peter's role better in the first one. Like, I just felt like there was more of a connection between Miles and Peter in the first one. But just in terms of like overall movie enjoyment, I definitely liked Across the Spider-Verse, even if it was just slightly more.
Yeah. No, what I really liked about it was the fact that it kind of like expanded on the idea of using a bunch of different art styles. Like,
Yes, that was pretty cool. Sometimes it was a little overwhelming, but it was kind of almost meant to be in the scenes where it was.
yeah. Yeah.
And just we'll get into spoilers in a moment. Um, but yeah, I wasn't. I don't know what I was really expecting out of this one, but I'd say that it exceeded my unknown expectations.
Yeah, I'd say the same. I didn't really see anything other than the like first trailer, I think. So I didn't
Yeah.
really know too much that was going on.
Well, I feel like they did a really good job with the trailers for this movie of not giving away so much.
Oh yeah,
They
absolutely.
really kind of just like showed you what the premise of the movie was going to be, and then just like a lot of imagery, but then didn't I didn't know what was going to be going on in the movie. And then like there are some, there's some twists and whatnot, and it was really really cool. I like Spider-Man 2099. He was pretty badass.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. um, I thought, are we able to get into spoilers or?
Yeah, sure. Okay, this is your official spoiler warning. All right, let's go.
All right. So I thought they would get a little bit more in depth into like his vampirism aspect. Like
I
it
agree.
showed him, like it flashed for a second, like his ability to like do whatever, but then it never really expanded upon it at all. Like it showed his fangs and everything, and he almost bit into that one dude like towards the beginning. But
Yeah, and
I, I don't
I
remember them doing
wonder.
anything else with that.
Yeah, and I honestly don't know enough about 2099 to, and what was his name? Was it Diego?
I think it was
No,
Miguel.
Miguel. Yeah, Miguel Herrera.
Hmm.
I don't know enough about him in the comics. I feel like the vampirism is true to the comics. Do you know?
The only thing I know about 2099 would have been from like I believe like a early 2000s cartoon.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, so I
and
don't know if they meant for that to be like an Easter egg, or if, because we already obviously we know there's confirmed going to be a third one.
yeah,
So
yeah,
maybe
no,
that'll play a little bit more of a part in the third one, and we just kind of got a little bit of um, a sampling, I guess you could say.
hmm yeah,
Uh,
no. What I do know from that cartoon though is I believe Peter Parker was thrown into the future in that version of 2099. So it wasn't
okay.
the Miguel version back then.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. So you're talking about from like the old 90s Spider-Man cartoon.
Yeah, I believe it would have been maybe early 2000, maybe 2001. So let's see.
Wait, are you talking about the one where they were on Counter Earth and they were like animal people?
I know that Venom and Carnage were like infused in it basically uh,
Okay.
at points.
Was his ally the Green Goblin?
Yeah, hmm
Like it was like a
yeah,
French Green Goblin?
yeah, yeah. I believe so.
I think that one was called like Ultimate Spider-Man or something.
Yeah,
Or because
Spider-Man Unlimited is
Unlimited.
2099. Yeah,
Yeah, because that wasn't the future. That was he went to a different planet.
really? Okay, then I
Because it
just
was it was like how did you see Guardians of the Galaxy 3 yet?
I haven't.
Okay, that one was really good, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
I'm
because
sure
that's
I'll.
another one that's like free of all kinds of BS that a bunch of the other ones have been falling into. But
Yeah, which Guardians of the Galaxy always has been, and I like that a lot about that series. It's probably
yes.
my favorite of the Marvels, honestly. I don't know,
Hmm.
Spider-Man's really good too, though.
Yeah, and James Gunn is gone from Marvel now. He's only doing DC movies.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's the head of
yeah.
DC now.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that'll be exciting. But yeah, the so Counter Earth, it plays a part in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. But
Okay,
it's where the High Evolutionary, he created a Counter Earth with a bunch of uh human animal hybrid type creations, and that's where Peter's supposed to be in that Spider-Man Unlimited show.
okay, all right. No, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's been a long
Yeah,
time since I've seen
yeah, there
it.
was space travel. I binged it on Disney Plus when it first came out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was just in the past, like maybe 4 years, something like that. Um, but back to Across the Spider Verse. Ben Riley was really funny, and
Mhm.
the Scarlet Spider,
Yeah, yeah,
the
he's a
perfect pose.
yeah,
Because they did always draw him so much more muscular than they drew Peter Parker, even though they're clones.
yeah. Yeah,
Um,
no, I really like that. Honestly, my my absolute favorite part though, and it's literally just a split second. He's swinging by a billboard and it says soda, a generic brand, and for some reason that just got me. That it was
you
just
know, I think I saw
hilarious.
that too. Actually, yeah, it was a real quick one.
It's like, oh my gosh.
um, One thing that I'm wondering if you, because I'll just say, like, as far as the movie goes and the actual story, the imagery, artwork, all of that stuff, I have no complaints. The only complaint is something that was purposeful, is like that it was left on a cliffhanger and that I have to wait for the third movie. Like, that's my only complaint, but they,
Yeah,
that's not a bad thing.
yeah.
um but uh but something that I don't know if you noticed, but did you notice the pin on Miles's backpack
I
when
don't.
he was in a parent teacher conference,
Mm-mm.
or,
I
or in the vice principal's office or whatever with his parents? So I it's just like the fact that you have to be kind of like looking around, that says something. But the pin on his backpack was a black pin and it said #BLM.
Oh, right. Hmm.
Did you notice that or no?
I did. Now that you mention it, yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah, when I saw it I was just like, okay, like at least, I mean, at least there was no like storylines where they're trying to beat you over the head with anything. But it did catch me off guard. um but I just chose, because it was such a good movie, I just chose to believe that it stood for Bureau of Land Management, you know?
yeah. No, I to me, regardless of like left, right, whatever side of the spectrum the political messaging is coming from, like I don't want to see it in my entertainment. Like I just want to
100%.
be entertained. Like to me, it wouldn't matter if it said BLM or hashtag, don't step on snake or whatever. Like,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean? Like left, right, it doesn't matter to me either way. It would have taken away from the movie a bit for sure.
Yeah, because it's anything that's polarizing, in
Yeah.
my opinion. Anything that's
Hmm.
polarizing, regardless of if I agree with it or not, is just like, why did you have to throw that into the movie?
Exactly.
Um and then apparently, now this is something that didn't make it into the movie because Sony wanted to be able to sell the movie in China, I'm sure. But in the US trailer, apparently, above the door in Gwen Stacy's room,
Hmm.
it's got a trans flag that says "Protect Trans Children,"
Hmm.
but only in the US trailer.
Yeah, I
And
don't.
now
I mean,
people are trying to say
yeah.
that, what's that?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I didn't notice anything like that.
I didn't notice it either, but it was something that I guess I don't know how I learned about it, but I saw the picture of it, and my or no, and then it was explained to me, or I read that there are trans activists trying to now say that because Gwen Stacy's uh, color scheme is blue pink, that Gwen Stacy is trans.
Hmm. I mean, honestly, the way things have been going, it wouldn't surprise me if that's
I
the
just
route they're
I
taking
the what I want to tell them is I don't think Miles is aware. Like I don't think he's got the memo on that if that's the
it.
case.
Yeah, I don't know.
uh,
I wouldn't have any clue where to start to get into their brains with that one.
yeah, they'll just one of these days they're getting into it and then all of a sudden Miles's spidey sense goes off. He's like, I don't know what's happening. Um, but yeah, other than that though, I just thought that those were like little things that were just kind of like it's kind of, in a way it's like who is this a win for? Honestly, like the fact that there's just like a pin that some people don't even notice in the movie, that says like hashtag BLM. Like, is that a win for anyone?
Right.
Uh, so. But other than that, I don't want to spend too much time on just those small negative things that I perceive as a negative, other people would perceive as a positive. Um, but other than that, just like the storyline was really cool. Again, if somebody made it this far and missed the spoiler warning, now I'm getting into heavy spoilers. Uh, but the when you learn what the whole point of this like spider society is, because it's all of the different Spider-Men from across the Spider-Verse. Well, that's the name of the movie.
Oh, hey.
um, yeah, and so you when you find out the whole point is to kind of just make sure that like honestly the bad things happen to Spider-Man that are supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Like they're making sure that every Spider-Man's Uncle Ben dies, like if they have an Uncle Ben, because what did they call them? Canon points?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Canon events. Yeah.
Yeah, canon event or yeah, that sounds right. And so yeah, like we learn when we learn that Miles saving the chief of police in the Indian Spider-Man's world was actually a no-no, and like Miles finds out that his dad is gonna die, and like all of the Spider-Men are fighting to keep him from saving his own dad. I'm like, dang, this is some heavy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a really cool aspect though, because I really like how it expanded upon the fact that he wants to like create his own story no matter what. Like he wants to like go his own way with what he does with Spider-Man
Yep.
regardless.
And
Like
you saying that reminds me of him being what do they call them, anachronisms?
mm,
Is that what they were calling it when like a canon thing is changed?
I think you might be right on that one.
Yeah. So we find out that Miles himself is an anachronism, and then like the
Yeah.
spider that he got bit by was from a different world, um, and that's why it has that number 42 on it. Because I even remember seeing that he was going to Earth 42 when it like traced him back to his home world,
Yeah.
and then I was like, wait, 42, that sounds off to me,
Hmm.
because his is supposed to be 1610,
Yeah.
the ultimate universe. And so that was really cool. And when he goes back to the Earth 42 and meets his other self, that was crazy.
Hmm.
um
Yeah. Yeah. And he's like well, we're already doing spoilers, so he's
Oh yeah.
Prowler in the other
Oh
in
yeah,
the
yeah. Finding out that his
universe.
other self is Prowler is
Yeah.
insane, and it's kind of it's interesting because in the comics, um, because Miles in one of their big events called Secret Wars, but not the original from back in like the 80s or 90s, whenever that was. The more recent one from I think 2012. That's when Miles comes over into the main Marvel universe. But before that, he was the Ultimate Spider-Man, and in a Spider-Man storyline, you find out that like the big question was who is the Miles Morales of Earth. Wow, how, because I remember Ultimate is 1610. uh what is, I feel like such a noob right now. 616.
Yeah.
Yeah, Earth 616. Okay, I made up for not remembering by remembering it before I had to search it. Um, but yeah, so the big question was who is the Miles Morales of Earth 616? Because obviously this Earth had its own Miles Morales before the one from the Ultimate Universe came over. Um, so you actually find out that the Miles Morales of the regular Marvel universe was friends with the Kingpin, and he found a way to go to the Ultimate Universe, and then he comes back after taking all of the weapons of the Ultimates, which is the Ultimate Universe's version of the Avengers.
Hmm.
So he's got like Thor's hammer, Captain America's shield, Giant Man's suit, like and more than that, I think. And they call him Ultimatum, I think was his name. Um, so it was interesting seeing the Across the Spider Verse do another alternate version of Miles Morales.
Yeah, yeah. And then I was actually really curious about like some of the live action stuff they did too, like what they could be um, possibly motioning towards. I don't know because they included like Tobey Maguire
Mm-hmm.
and
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, Andrew Garfield and Donald Glover was in it as Prowler.
Yeah, that was cool seeing Donald Glover as the Prowler, which is who he's supposed to end up being in the Tom Holland Spider-Man universe.
Oh, okay. Or
Because
you think
you
that's
watched Homecoming, right?
yeah, uh-huh.
Do you remember Donald Glover being in Homecoming?
Yeah, yeah. He was like Vulture's assistant or
No,
something like
he
that.
was he
Told him
was
how.
buying
Yeah,
equipment from Vulture's henchmen.
yeah. That's it. Yeah, he
And
was.
he said something about like, "Oh, I have a nephew around here."
I do
That
remember that. Hmm.
that line is a nod to Miles Morales.
Yeah. See, so I wonder why, like, they included all that in this.
Yeah,
You know?
it's gonna get crazy. I mean, one of these days, who knows? Maybe we'll even see like an animated Miles Morales in a live action Spider-Man. Like, who knows?
That would be
Or they'll
interesting.
turn him into live action and incorporate him into the live action stuff.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
But as far as like the animation goes, like the person I went with, she was super knowledgeable on some of the stuff in that movie. And I guess, did you know the Lego part was animated by a 14-year-old kid?
No,
Yeah, like I
that's
guess
crazy.
I guess he would do like some of his own like Lego remakes and stuff, and they asked him to do that scene, and like to me
Wow,
that's
that's
really
impressive
cool.
because
Like,
it's stop motion, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's impressive. I don't have the patience.
yeah, I know, right? So for like this 14-year-old kid to be able to do something, on a AAA title, you know,
Yeah, yeah. Good for him.
yeah, yeah, no. That and I guess Hobie was animated slightly different. Like
How so?
I guess in typical animation, like there's a new motion done every single frame, right?
Okay.
Um, but then in the original Miles Morales Spider-Man, um, Into the Spider-Verse, they did every 2 frames, and they kept
Oh.
they kept that going in this one, but for Hobie's character specifically, he's every 3 frames, and he's the only character like that. And
That I
and I
could see
guess it took
that.
them like 3 years just to animate him,
That's insane.
from what this girl was telling me. And I was like, that's really that's a lot of dedication and hard work.
Oh yeah. Um Hobie, fun fact, he actually is another person in the Earth 616
Yeah.
that took on the mantle of Prowler.
Hmm. Okay.
So yeah,
Interesting. 'Cause
Hobie
I didn't.
is part of the lore.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about him until this movie, to be honest. It's the first time I've
Yeah, I
seen this character.
yeah, I don't I honestly didn't realize that he was English from reading the comics. This is my first realization that he was, but it makes sense.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't.
based
I
on
didn't.
like the imagery from the comics and whatnot. I'm pretty sure I've seen him like with an English flag before, and it just didn't dawn on me.
Yeah. Yeah. No. And then I actually really liked the fact that it ended on a to be continued, because I always like, I don't know, I really like when movies do something different, and
Yeah, and what a
it's
good
very
to be
rare that you
continued.
see that, like in a movie, you know.
Wait, repeat that last part.
It's just very rare that you see something like that in a movie, you know.
Yes. Yeah, it was kind of like Infinity War Endgame.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was, and it was such a good to be continued too, because that was like it was just they had just gotten you so hyped up over what was going to happen,
Yeah.
and then you see that Miles Morales of Earth 42, which the our Miles got stranded in, is his own universe as the Prowler, and this is a universe where he was supposed to get bit by the spider in this universe, right?
Um.
Like, or maybe he was never supposed to get bit by the spider at all.
Yeah. I don't.
I guess they never really went into detail on that. Maybe that's something we'll learn in the next movie, Beyond the Spider Verse.
Yeah. No. So I think Miguel was saying that Peter would have never died. Yeah.
Yeah, in the Ultimate Universe, Peter would have never died.
Yeah. So I think he just wasn't supposed to be bitten ever.
Yeah, and then in Earth 42 is where Miles's dad does die, and his uncle Aaron
Mhm.
never did die, and totally leads Miles down the wrong path.
Yeah, and nobody was able to get bit by that spider, so it's like
Yeah,
in
yeah,
retrospect.
that's true. I wonder if they'll explain who was supposed to get bit by the spider in Earth 42. That would be
Yeah,
interesting to
I'd like
learn.
to see him expand on that. But
Yeah,
another really cool thing, Spot. We haven't even really talked about him at all. Spot.
that's true.
He he was a really awesome character, I think, just because of how like clumsy he was at first, and the
Yeah,
fact that he was voiced by Jason Schwartzman. I was not expecting that at all, and then as soon as I heard his voice, I was like, "What?" Because
Jason
I
Schwartzman.
really love him in like all the Wes Anderson movies, like Rushmore and
I know who
Ocean's
that
11.
is.
But
Jason
yeah, I was kind
Schwartz.
of excited by that, and I think he did a really good job of Spot, because
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, he Spot was always kind of like a kind of like joke villain, even back in the day, you know. So for them to show just how powerful he could be and get, like, I thought that was
Oh yeah. Yeah, I he was I've seen some stuff where he was pretty menacing. Cuz like with a with a hero like Spider-Man, having someone who can literally just like put your punches or your webs through a hole and then shoot them out somewhere else, it's like how do you fight that guy?
yeah,
And so yeah, it was cool because I think what we were seeing was kind of like him at the beginning.
yeah,
He hadn't gotten a handle on his powers and stuff, so he was like the whole ATM scene was just ridiculous.
yeah, like
Like, let me rob you.
yeah,
He's like trying to shove the ATM. Oh, and the guy outside because he's shoving the ATM into the hole in the ground and opens a hole up outside, so half of the ATM comes out of the street, and someone trips over it.
Yeah.
That was good. That was
He's like,
good.
who left this ATM here?
Yeah. And you just got the store owner like trying to beat him up with a bat.
Yeah.
Uh,
That was a really
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I can't believe we're like 25 minutes in. We didn't talk about
There's
like
so much
the
that happened though.
yeah, the main villain for the most part.
Like, we
Um
we didn't even talk about like just how overwhelming the amount of variations of Spider-Man are either. Like,
oh yeah. Like and
it-
and there was the scene in the trailer where you get to see them all pointing at each other, so people should be aware of like just how many spider people there were.
yeah,
Um
yeah, but like the T-Rex Spider-Man and
yeah,
like
T-Rex Spider-Man.
the cat Spider-Man, like I don't know.
Oh
I wasn't
man.
expecting those at all.
Yeah, there were some crazy variations in that like spider headquarters.
Yeah,
This one was a little bit more Gwen centric than the first one.
yeah,
Like it
yeah.
kind of
I
gave
agree.
her at least equal screen time, if not, I don't know, maybe even a little bit extra.
Yeah, I would have to, you know, like really watch it again to
Yeah,
figure it
it
out. But
seemed like they
I'd
definitely
say
did a lot
probably.
more with her character in this one than the last one.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
And
pretty sure
I
they
mean
showed her
I
first.
like, huh?
I'm pretty sure they showed her before Miles even.
Oh, they did. They started the
Yeah.
movie with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like her character. I like that they showed her backstory because not enough people realize that or like really nobody that just goes and sees the movies knows how in her universe Peter Parker was the lizard.
Really. Oh, I think I remember you telling me about that actually.
Well,
Yes.
you we saw it in the movie.
Wait, Peter Parker was a lizard in the movie?
Yeah, remember? That's like why her dad goes after her
Okay.
because like because Peter Parker in her universe doesn't get bit by the spider, and then he ends up creating the lizard serum that Doc Connors creates in the regular universe.
Yeah, for some reason I was thinking it just killed him though, but I guess I forgot
No,
completely based on the
she
whole
got in the
fact.
battle with him.
Yeah, okay. That's
Yeah,
right, because he thinks, yeah, her dad thinks that he was murdered and whatnot. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah. And so it was cool to see because I knew that from the comics, but they never explained it in the first one. But it wasn't like there wasn't like a time where they really would have. I think that we covered really everything in the movie. It's just it feels like there's something we're missing because the movie didn't technically end. Like because there's the to be continued, so there's not like any tie it up in a ribbon type of ending to this video either because we're waiting for the next one to come out too.
Right. Is Spot gonna kill his dad? What's gonna happen? Like,
Yeah, find out next time in
yeah,
Beyond the Spider Verse.
yeah, exactly.
I think that I was hearing it's supposed to come out next year. So
Mhm. Yeah, it would
I'm
make sense because this one took so long to come out that they would be making probably both of them at the same time, you
yeah, I think
know?
they did do something similar to how Infinity War and Endgame were just like all of it was being done at the same time.
Yeah.
Um so
Although
hopefully
another thing that that girl had told me is that they were literally working on the film till like 5 days before it came out, like
really
literally like last freaking minute, like
wow.
like some of the
That's
animation for it.
that's insane. And they talk about MCU movies having crazy deadlines
Yeah,
for the CGI.
cutting it close.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they did a great job, and I definitely recommend everyone goes and sees this movie because yeah, it's Marvel, but it's this one is even less Disney than the live action Spider-Man movies because this is all just done by Sony.
Yeah, yeah, I think
So
it's cool
I
too. I'd recommend it absolutely.
yeah, 100%. Um yeah, Other than that, there's not really anything else exciting coming out for the rest of the year in terms of Marvel stuff. Anyway, like the next thing coming out for Marvel is the Marvels, the like Captain Marvel sequel, and
Okay.
it doesn't look good.
Yeah, I don't know if I saw Captain Marvel, to be honest.
Yeah, I think this one might be the first theatrical release that I wait for Disney Plus,
Yeah, yeah.
because it's Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel, and then uh Monica Rambeau, who doesn't have a superhero name yet, but I think they're going to end up calling her, I think it's Photon or Spectrum. I think it's either Photon or Spectrum, or it's both. I don't remember.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, and apparently there's supposed to be like a musical aspect to the movie, and I'm not looking forward to that at all. I'll wait till 2024 and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, yeah. So that way you can at least fill in, the story of it
Yeah, yeah.
to the
Um,
timeline.
Yeah, hopefully. I'll see what the if it gets good enough reviews while it's in theaters, then sure, I'll go check it out, but I'm not going to be I'm not going to bite the bullet on this one. I'm not going to make any sacrifices just so people know how the Marvels is going to be.
No, for sure.
um but yeah, other than that, yeah, I think we covered it all.
Yeah.
Uh anything else you can think of for the movie? I feel like we got it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was just about everything. Everything that I could think of.
Alrighty. Well,
You have a good one.
all right. You too, man. Great talking to you.
Yeah,
Always.
yeah. Good to talk to you too.